Here's the truth that nobody is really talking about. Portland is not just a city, it is full on like a microcosm of a bunch of different cities. And depending on who you are and the place that you choose, it can either bring out the very best in you or it'll chew you up a little before you settle in. So in today's video, I'm gonna be taking you through an honest take, the good, the bad, and the surprising things only a true long timer that lived here can really tell you about. I'm Stewart. I grew up in Portland. I raised my family here, and I've helped dozens of people over the years make the move to Portland and buy anything from the rural life to the city life, everything in between. We're not here to sugarcoat Portland. We're not here to scare you away from it either. Let's start with the people who tend to thrive here. These are the people that step into Portland's rhythm and they feel like they've absolutely found home here, and you guys are very vocal about that. We always like to hear it. Number one, the people who value authenticity, slower, intentional lifestyles. Portland rewards people who are calm, creative, simple. You enjoy slower mornings, thoughtful conversations, quiet neighborhoods, and supporting local. You're gonna feel right at home here. People who don't need that flashy nightlife or constant stimulation. Portland has this incredibly grounding feeling. It's not rushed or performative. There's no pressure to outpace everyone around you. People take their time, they talk to each other, they garden, they hike, they volunteer. They're very active in their communities, and people enjoy that about living here. Number two, nature lovers and four-season type people. You are looking for seasons. Maybe you're coming from a place that only has one or two seasons. You like rivers, you like hiking, you like everything that Portland will fill your soul with. You might go for walks and hikes you never thought of. You go out to Yamhill County to go wine tasting. You spend the day at the coast. And of course, summers here are absolutely unbeatable. People really fall hard here for Portland if they're outdoor. The trees, the rivers, the mountains, they just sort of blend into your routine in a way that you don't even realize until you leave. In fact, I was just out of town back east. The plane flew over Mount Hood as we were getting ready to land, and I thought, oh my Lord, Portland, the Pacific Northwest, there's really nothing as gorgeous as it is here. You're gonna hear rain tapping on the roof while the whole city just slows way down. Nature does become a part of your anchor, something that gently grounds you without asking for your attention. And the seasons, this is what everyone asks about or wants, especially people returning to Portland. Fall feels nostalgic and cozy. Winter makes you feel warm and intentional. Spring, everything explodes. Color, trees, flowers, everybody comes back to life after a long winter. And then you got summer, which is sheer magic. It makes you forget about every gloomy day that came before it. Number three is family oriented. So we've got a lot of different types of suburban style neighborhoods for different types of families, whether it's East Side or West Side. But if you value stability, neighbors who actually know each other, you're gonna really thrive here as well. And if you settle into the different types of areas of town, you're gonna know something people don't really expect in a major metro. Genuine, tight-knit community. The different cities all have their own kind of heartbeat or vibe. You see the same people at the grocery store, the bakeries, the coffee shops, the soccer fields. People wave, they share their garden tomatoes and fresh eggs. You go on walks and know not just the dogs' names, but the owners too. And it's not performative, it's real. You feel like you get to build relationships. Everybody's on a different pace. You're just not trying to rush everything. And that is where Portland's charm really kicks in, even with all the seasonality and the rain and the things you hear about with the weather. Number four is remote professionals and people craving balance. Portland is perfect for people who want kind of the city access and amenities, but not all the city life. A remote worker, especially the ones who love nature access, they tend to really build their lives around that, not just traffic and commuting. And it's really common for people relocating to Portland to tell us, this has improved my work-life balance more than anywhere they've lived before. And they always tell us how they'll work for a few hours and they go for a walk or a hike or plan their whole weekend. Another thing I love about living here is you get access to everything without the big overwhelmed of a fast-paced city. You want the coast, you're probably a little over an hour away. You want to go to Mount Hood for the day, you're an hour and 20, 30 minutes. You want to go to the vineyards, Yamhill County, you're 20, 30 minutes. You still have access to restaurants, theater, culture. You're not fighting LA-style traffic. Even our airport feels humane. In fact, I was just at the airport and I was like, gosh, this is a nice airport. Doesn't hurt that they spent $2 billion to upgrade it. But Portland tends to lean towards balance, towards creativity and individuality. People here are not trying to fit into a mold, they're just themselves. The food scene, the bookstores, the local makers and creatives, the music, everything is kind of woven in, so it just becomes a part of a lifestyle. Now on the west side, you might see this calming blend of comfort, convenience. You can walk to parks and go down to streets. You've got great schools. It's still close to the metro, so you feel close enough that you're not far away. On the east side, you've got incredible food scene. You've got creatives, you've got art. Everything local is cherished. The people who thrive here are open-minded, they're curious, they're comfortable, even with different different perspectives. Lifestyle fit test. Whenever someone is seriously considering moving to Portland, I always give them this challenge. Spend 1 full week in Portland, if not longer, not as a tourist, but as a resident. Do the things you would actually do if you lived here. Go to the grocery store, spend time outdoors when it's raining, drive through rush hour traffic, or take the commute to the area that you think you're gonna live in. Go walk around. Don't just sit at the coffee shops and eat the cool food. Like, really try to live here. And if you find yourself relaxed and at peace, enjoying the greenery, the rhythm, the vibe, you're probably gonna do okay here. And if after a couple days you start craving sun or energy or high city intensity, that is a sign that it might be actually hard for you to fit here long term. And of course, if you need help, my team and I would love to be the ones guiding you through this process right here in Portland. And if you're thinking about relocating here or you're already deep in research mode, make sure you download our free relocation guide. It's in the description below. You'll see the link. It is packed full of neighborhood information, insights, and nuances that a lot of people just don't really share with you. Now let's talk about some of those challenges that often catch a lot of newcomers off guard. If you're somebody who is very weather dependent, you need sun and dry weather, or if gray skies really impact your moods, think about maybe visiting here and spending time before you make the commitment, because it is very gray a lot of the year, and that can really affect seasonal depression folks. Number 2, those who prefer a super fast-paced, high-energy environment. If you thrive on big city, hustle, bustle, nightlife, noise, constant movement, Portland's gonna feel way too quiet and too slow for you. This is a city that really does prioritize calm, creative community spaces. It is not a spectacle. It is a slower-paced city. Number 3, anyone who defines their happiness by square footage or luxury amenities, Portland is not flashy. So if you're expecting giant homes or endless upscale shopping centers, you're gonna be really underwhelmed. The beauty here is what takes over. People appreciate the outside in. They appreciate, like I mentioned, localism, environmentalism. Now, number 4, people who are uncomfortable with change or diversity. Portland is very progressive, very eco-friendly, into social issues. Some would say extreme liberalism. So if you prefer a traditional or conservative culture to be a part of, you're gonna find it a bit challenging here. Another thing people often misunderstand about Portland is the cost of living. Portland gets labeled as affordable, but the truth is that's only true if you're comparing California and Seattle. By national standards, we are definitely higher. Housing in the burbs and beyond has appreciated a lot over the last decade, and property taxes surprise people. And here's something almost everyone is shocked by too: the rents. Rents in Portland are often much higher than people imagine, and it makes a lot of newcomers pause because they go, well, should I rent or should I buy? A big reason for this is that Oregon implemented several landlord-tenant laws over the last decade that, while were well-intentioned, put a lot of pressure on that small mom-and-pop landlord. And those landlords have historically made up the backbone of our rental market here in Portland. Many of them just opted out. They just sold their investments. They didn't want to deal with it. So we lost, since 2016, close to 30% of our small rental owners, which means fewer rental homes on the market and far less new rental inventory being built. Now, when supply drops, prices rise, and that's exactly what Portland has experienced. It's actually a major driver behind the higher rental costs people feel when they look at the rents here. And while we're talking about costs, there's one more newcomer reality that we should talk about. The everyday expenses here in Portland, they just tend to run higher. Gas prices, we are some of the highest on the West Coast. They're just constantly high, and we're not quite as high as California, but definitely above the national average. And because we're a city with a lot of commuters moving between the burbs, work hubs, and schools, people notice it fast because we are a car-based city. Your grocery bill will always feel a lot steeper than if you're coming from away from the West Coast. That's just a fact. Services and utilities, same story. Not outrageous, but enough to make newcomers do a double tank on their utility bills. Now, we need to talk about the part that's honestly a little embarrassing for those of us who've lived here a long time: the homeless, the drug crisis, and the mental health issues. There is absolutely no sugarcoating this. Portland's urban core has absolutely struggled in the worst way, and it's not just a big city way, but in a way that sometimes looks like we've abandoned our humanity. People living on sidewalks, addiction happening openly, situations that do not look dignified or safe for anyone involved. Most of us who grew up here have a deep ache about how this is playing out. And we know that policy choices over the years that weren't the right ones have kind of brought us to this place, and we're all kind of living with the consequences. Multnomah County has instigated a homeless tax that we've all poured millions of dollars into. But honestly, as locals, we don't think the money is going to fix this issue, because in fact, it might be adding more layers of bureaucracy, frustration about what leadership is or is not doing. But here's the nuance that the headlines do not show you that I want to be emphatic about. This is not happening evenly across the Portland metro. While Portland is dealing with it the most acutely in the inner core, if you go out towards the burbs or certain neighborhoods, it's not showing up the same way. So I think a lot of people think all of Portland metro is struggling with this. And while there is homeless in a lot of Portland metro, the worst of it and the most acute of it is in the inner core, especially in the downtown region where a lot of businesses have left and a lot of homeless kind of have populated and get their services there. And so that is one of those things that if you're very sensitive to it, or you're looking to live in the city or the core or areas where that might be happening, it's important to do the research to see if you feel comfortable living in that area. Now that we've talked about who thrives here or may not thrive here, there is some things you need to be aware of in the growth, development, political shifts, and industries that are shaping what Portland will look like over the next decade. So let's start with the big one. Population shifts. Now, the better part of the pandemic, people were leaving Portland at a faster rate than coming in. And that movement is starting to change. That trend is actually stabilizing. And in some pockets, it's reversing. Remote workers are definitely coming back here. Former Portlanders are returning home. I'm getting the calls. And newcomers who want something that's more affordable compared to California and Seattle are definitely discovering this area. Now on the west side, places like Beaverton, Tigard, Sherwood, Lake Oswego, the demand has been steady. And we're seeing a lot of people with more demand in those areas because of safety, strong school systems, stability, and community. And we're seeing competition creeping back in for well-maintained homes in highly desirable pockets. So let's talk about housing development, because Portland's growth pattern looks very, very different from places like Phoenix, Austin, or Dallas, where the urban sprawl and explosion just happened like crazy over the last several years. Now, we're not able to do the urban sprawl, and we don't have endless land because that's just not Portland, but we do have subtle and strategic infill development happening, ADUs, revitalizing older properties. There's parts of the burbs on both sides of the river that are allowing you to expand on your lot, add additional housing, because we need it. We just don't have more land to build on. You're also seeing a lot of mixed use spaces in places where new construction's happening, where they're adding retail, green spaces, parks, and a little bit more of a walkability factor. A lot of smart buyers are paying attention to these neighborhoods that are having this because it means long-term appreciation trends are strong, and that is typically where we see the growth. Now, infrastructure, and I know Portlanders love to complain about this, but there are some meaningful things happening, and you may not agree whether they help or hurt, but a lot of the public transportation like TriMet and MAX are improving their corridors and expanding services. Now, the Southwest Portland area, like improvements on Highway 217 that are aimed to decrease the bottleneck that we constantly deal with, that's also happening. Bike lanes, pedestrian walkways, green space projects, those are all helping to shape the city. And for suburban homeowners, that means better access, better commutes, and continued demand for buyers who want the convenience without sacrificing the lifestyle. Now, there's something that we're seeing across all communities. Portland is recentering itself. Neighborhood associations are stronger, local businesses are bouncing, the arts and food scene is always thriving, and residences are becoming more involved in shaping their overall communities. There's a shift happening towards stability, improvement, and long-term investment in the city's identity. And finally, sustainability. In Portland, environmental awareness is not just a trend, it is a lifestyle. Solar, EV, native landscaping are all on the rise and will continue to be because Portland values that. Now, people here love the outdoors, and the future growth really, really depends on preserving it. And that is a big, strong value system that Portland tends to hold on to, and you see it everywhere you go. Portland is not the Portland of 20 years ago. Political shifts, population shifts, economic changes, those have completely reshaped the way Portland is. Some neighborhoods have thrived and blossomed, while others feel very different from the versions that a lot of people remember. But here's the real dirty secret about Portland, in Multnomah County specifically. Building permits are at an all-time high in cost and complexity. And if you want to build from the ground up in the city limits of Multnomah County, your permit costs alone are $60,000 or more. And then you have another 12 to 18 months of red tape. That's even before you break ground. So it's no surprise that a lot of builders have just packed up and left Multnomah County, and they're doing a lot of their building out in Washington County and Clackamas County, in the burbs basically, where it's faster, easier, and much more cost effective to build something. And that's why you're seeing a big amount of growth happening on the west and southwest side of Portland, places where development is actually possible without a builder going broke waiting for approvals. But don't make any mistake, there's growth being pushed on Portland proper. here, but it's not that typical sprawl you see. It's really happening through density. So if there is a lot available existing in that area, growth. Where there's a home that can be taken down and replaced with something else, growth. Where builders can fit 10 units on an acre instead of 2 because the zoning allows for it, they'll do it because density is king. Density, density, density. Actually, everywhere in Portland, density. And also with density, you'll see condos and townhomes and some of this new construction where there's a mixture of single family homes with mixed of retail and condos and multiplexes, and all because they're trying to make affordable housing mixed into the new construction. That's usually a requirement of developers. So you can really see that when you get here, it's not this wide open territory where, land's in abundance and new constructions everywhere and sprawl, sprawl, sprawl. It's really contained, and you start to see where density shows up. After 40 years of living in Portland, through the highs, the lows, the beauty, the frustration, the glow-ups, and all these growing pains, here's my honest verdict. Portland works best when you think about the life you want to live, not the one social media tells you. This isn't a city built around flash, constant entertainment, or endless stimulation. It's built around living well and how you want to live. So if you want a slower pace, community roots, beautiful scenery, more intentional way of being, Portland delivers that effortlessly depending on where you're looking. But if you crave nightlife, high-rise energy, huge growth, urban areas that are nonstop action, this is gonna feel like you're missing something. One of the biggest questions to ask yourself is, can you embrace the seasons and the slower pace that comes with them? Because Portland teaches you to live with the rhythm of the weather, cozy winters, vibrant springs, stunning summers, and yes, the gray in between. Now, the rain isn't just something you put up with, it really has to become part of your lifestyle. People who thrive here, they learn that routine, they find ways to work in it versus against it, or they fly out of town every now and then to get the sunshine. It's like any place worth living, Portland comes with trade-offs, and housing costs have risen. Yes, the rain is really real here, and yes, the city is facing challenges that could take a while to fix. But in return, you get clean air, endless nature, mild summers, and tight-knit communities, and a lifestyle that encourages you to slow down and actually enjoy living your life. So if you're thinking about moving to Portland, here's my best piece of advice. Really and genuinely spend some real time here. Not just sightseeing or you came on a weekend trip and fell in love. Walk the neighborhoods, experience the real weather that you think might bug you. Really get a sense of what it means when you're living here, because Portland is not just a location, it is a way of life. The only way to know if it fits is to truly experience it. And for those of you who've lived here before and you're returning, or maybe you visited enough times or you have family and friends here and you know what you're getting into, reach out to us. We would love to help you make the move to Portland, and we appreciate you guys. Look out for our next videos as we share more about what it's like through Portland life.